Good morning. Welcome to my basement. I'm Yvonne Reed, addictions counselor, licensed clinical addictions counselor in Indiana. And today I'm going to teach you how to use a game in your home as a way of perhaps having deeper interaction with your family. For the last 10 years or so, I have been using games in groups, and I have recognized that it just allows people to interact at a deeper level. And so one of the things I'm realizing is that sometimes when people are in different kinds of situations, they may not know how to interact. So if you're at home with your children, they may not be interacting with you as much or in a different way. And so what we're going to do is play the game of Jenga. This is my husband, and we have set up the generic tumbling towers in front of us. And we are going to play this as best we can, sliding a brick out and setting it up on top, keeping the first 2 rows complete, and also answering questions as we play this. So the first question, Mark, that I'm going to ask as we are starting to play this game, and I'll go first, is what is a negative of having to stay at home? And so what I'm going to do is find a brick, and I'm going to set it up on top. I guess you should probably call it a block. And one of the negatives that I find about having to be at home is I really enjoy just driving. I like to get out and go. I enjoy having lots of things on my schedule. I like feeling that sense of accomplishment at the end of the day. And so right now, it kind of feels to me like I'm not accomplishing anything. Okay, it's your turn.
My turn.
I think you spotted that one from afar.
Looks like it might be one that's come out pretty easily.
Okay.
Well, I'm a school teacher. I teach high school chemistry, and I miss my kids dearly. This e-learning stuff is great for one occasional snow day, but for continued, it's really hard. I'm putting in a lot of hours and hoping to challenge the kids, but not put them too far in it because I know they're dealing with a lot as well. So it's been tough. I'm hearing from quite a few of my kids in terms of how they're doing, and they're getting their assignments in, but so that's probably the biggest negative for me right now.
Makes sense to me. All right, so this question could go around for another couple of rounds through a person's family, but we're going to switch it to a second question, and that is, what's a positive of being at home? All right, so I will take my turn now if I can. And if we happen to knock this over, we're going to just say oops and build it again. And we're on a card table, so that could very easily happen. Okay, a positive that I am seeing about being at home is we are using up some of the things that are in the freezer that have been there for a long time. In fact, that one bag of vegetables I brought out the other night, I wasn't sure if you were even going to eat them since they expired in November of 19. However, they tasted fine, and we are whittling. Yeah, we did not die yet, so we're good. So in some ways, it feels good to use some of the things that kind of got shoved to the back, and I hadn't sorted very well.
Okay, so let's see if I can find one. All right, I guess for me a positive is I'm one that with teaching, I'm very busy through the school year, but I do have blocks of time and had planned on some summer projects, so I'm actually getting a start on that. You can't see from where you're at, but I'm tearing the carpet out of the basement and eventually have that out, and once some of these orders are lifted, we'll find ourselves at Lowe's, Menards, something like that, buying new flooring to put down. So I guess I consider that a positive.
Yeah, that's definitely a project we talked about, but hadn't really known quite when we were going to get it done. Okay, third question. You could, of course, play that one several rounds if you wanted to. I want us to think a little bit about what might be fun, something new that I personally might be able to do while we're staying at home. What might be something new that I might do while I'm staying at home? Well, I like coming up with new recipes, and there are a few things in our dry goods that I hadn't quite known what to do. One is quinoa. I've had quite a bit of that down there. Also, our daughter gave us some goji berry powder, and I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I have no clue what to do with that. I've had it in the cupboard probably about a year, And so what I can do is research that, and it'll be fun for me to come up with a recipe. Probably not those two together, I'm thinking.
Hope not.
All right. What's something fun and new that you might be
You
able
can
to
do
do?
your tile.
Oh, goodness, I'm trying to skip my turn. Lord have mercy.
Exactly.
What
You're
am I
getting really
doing?
adventurous there.
I am. Now, as we're looking at the Jenga, this is about the point when I am meeting with my groups. I would point out the fact that there are a lot of holes, but somehow we're managing to keep it together. And one of the things I talk about is how for many of my clients who were active in their addiction for a long time, they made it look like life was absolutely fine. Now, some of you at home may be acting like absolutely everything is fine, but you're feeling kind of empty, feeling kind of lost. You're not sure how to talk to somebody else in the house. And so it might be good to just maybe pause for a moment and think a little bit about what kinds of emptiness you might be feeling. Okay.
Well, one of my requirements for keeping my license is put in several hours of professional development. And there's an opportunity that presented itself last fall that was available as long as you got done by May. Well, I didn't have time. Now I may have some time. So something new for me is going to be logging into this site and doing the professional development and maybe getting a few hours I need to get anyhow.
So a further question might be, how could I go about this? So you could flesh that out with a family member. What kinds of steps would need to happen? The next question might be, what is something positive I can do related to changing my life? What kinds of things might I be able to do that would make me feel better about myself in the midst of all this journey? Well, one thing that I would say for myself is I know I tend to have lots of anxiety. I tend to get overwhelmed very easily. And it's going to be important for me to have lots of time alone and walk because that's how I get my interaction. And so I need to be proactive in letting you know I need my alone time. I need my time to do my walking. I do what I call my prayer walk in the house, and I usually try to do that when Mark is out on a run. But recently I've been trying to find out when he's going to go running. Maybe one of the things I could do is say, I really need to do my prayer walk this morning, so that he knows ahead of time that that's going to be helpful for me in dealing with my anxiety.
Well, I'm not sure in terms of new things I'm planning or